Hello everyone. Today we are going to see how to set up a GK cluster in Google Cloud. So first of all, you have to select your project where you want to deploy GKE. So this is the project where I want to deploy my GK cluster. So I'm selecting this project. So afterwards, so you have to open this hamburger icon and you have to search for Kubernetes engine. So you have to click on Kubernetes engine. So after clicking Kubernetes engine, initially you have to enable some APIs. Initially you have to enable API in order to access this. So you have to enable Kubernetes engine API. Then after enabling the API, go to Kubernetes engine, go to overview, go to clusters, and you have to click create. So in today's video, so we are going to see how to deploy a standard cluster. So this is nothing but an autopilot cluster. So there are two types of cluster in Kubernetes. One is standard cluster and the second one is autopilot cluster. So autopilot cluster means the nodes are created automatically. You don't have any control over it. Whereas in standard cluster, you can create your own nodes. So we are going to standard cluster. So initially it will ask for name. So just give your name as demo cluster. So I'm going to create, this is location type. So you can have zonal cluster or regional cluster. So I'm going to choose regional cluster. So I'm going to deploy in US central one. And so these are nothing but node locations. So I'm going to have three node locations. One. So let me select two node locations. Right. So next we're going into the node pool. So node pool is nothing but so node pool has nodes. Nodes are nothing but VM instances. Like if you select two nodes, then two VMs will be created by Kubernetes in background. So this is a node pool. So in node pool, we are having two nodes. So we're giving only two nodes. So this is nothing but number of nodes per zone. So per zone, I want only one node. That means we are having two zones, means we are creating two nodes. So we are specifying the node location. So node location we know central 1A and 1B. Alright. So next we're going into nodes. This is important because the pricing depends upon the machine type you have selected. For example, E2. I'm selecting E2 and I'm selecting a micro to save cost. So instead of micro, let me go with small. So the boot disk type also changes the price. If you select standard persistent, it will be least. If you select SSD, it will be the highest and balanced in between. So I'm selecting standard persistence. Now you can see the price has been decreased. So if you want boot disk size to be 100, then you can select it as 100. Otherwise, you can reduce according to your node. Because you can see here, right? The cost is reduced. So you can also use spot instances. Spot instances are discounted instances, but they don't provide guarantee availability. Availability is not guaranteed. So the nodes might fail in between. We are selecting that option. So you can see now it is $83. So finally, we are going to networking. You can select number max and number of pods per node. So the default option is 110. You can select 110 also. So this is nothing but the service account. So I'm selecting this service, the service account, compute default service account and access code. You can select allow default access. Automation, you have different options like vertical pod auto scaling, node auto provisioning. So networking. So I'm going to select my default default network and in the default subnet. So this subnet is in US Central 1. It is automatically selected. So we are going to create a public cluster and we are going to enable this data plane V2. It's a network policy, Kubernetes network policy. So we are also going to enable workload identity. So workload identity lets you connect securely to Google APIs from Kubernetes engine workloads. Enable this option. So after enabling all these options, so you can just click on create. So creation of Google GKE cluster might take more than 5 minutes. So you have to wait. So we are creating two nodes and the location is US Central 1. It's a regional cluster. So as you can see, it's a regional cluster and the nodes are located in two different zones. Total node size 2. So the maximum pods per node are 110. So this is nothing but workload identity. So we have set up it. So now, as you can see, our GK cluster is ready and up and running. So with the two nodes. So let us see how you can connect to this cluster. So first of all, open the Cloud Shell. Click on Activate Cloud Shell. So how you can connect to this GK cluster? So there is an option known as Connect. So if you go and click Connect, then you'll get this option. So just copy this command and run this command. Just copy this command and just run it here. So it what this command does is it will just download the credentials in cube.config file. So if you want to see the credentials, okay. So now it's connected. So you can execute all the kubectl commands as the kubectl is already installed in this system. If you want to check whether kubectl is installed in the system, click kubectl and version. Kubectl unknown flag. Okay. Okay, let us do this. Yeah, kubectl is already installed in the system. Okay, so kubectl get nodes -o void. So using this command, you'll get number of nodes created while creation of clusters. So you have created two nodes. You have created two nodes. So you are getting two nodes. So kubectl get pods. So we didn't create any pods in this cluster. So we are getting this kubectl get deployment. Kubectl get service. So kubectl get service. There will be one service available. This is created